Hello student. Today we will study structural organization in animal chapter. In this chapter we will study how the structural organization in animal perform different function. So to perform different function they have cells, tissues and organ system. So let us begin. In multicellular animals, since animals are mostly multicellular, a group of similar cells along with intercellular substances perform a specific function. That means a group of cells come together and they form a tissue and they perform a specific function. And together it is called as the tissue. This group of cells together it is called as the tissue. All complex animals consist of only four basic types of tissues. These tissues are arranged in specific proportion and pattern to form an organ like stomach, lung, heart and kidneys. So different organs. Okay, the tissue come together and they form a different organ. So when two or more organs perform a common function by their physiological or chemical interaction, they together form an organ system. For example, digestive system. So you can see here there are different organs. They come together, they interact with one to another and forms a system. Digestive system, then the respiratory system. You can see different organs. So that is trachea, then bronchioles and the lungs. They together form the respiratory system. Okay. So a group of cell, they are called as the tissue, they perform a certain function. Then group of tissue together they form an organ, and group of organ they form the system. So animal tissues are basically classified into four types. Okay, that is epithelial, muscular, connective and nervous system. Okay, nervous tissue. So animal tissue are basically classified into four main types, that is epithelial, muscular, connective and nervous tissue. Now this is the broad animal classification of animal tissue. Then epithelial tissue are further classified into squamous, cuboidal, columnar, ciliated and glandular. Muscular tissue are further classified into three types, that is striated, non-striated and cardiac. Connective tissues are further classified into areolar, dense, regular connective tissue, which consists of two types, tendon and ligament tissue. Then adipose, skeletal consists of cartilage and bones. Then fluid, vascular tissue consists of blood and lymph. So this is the broad classification of animal tissue. We will study this classification in detail. Now epithelial tissue, it is also called as the epithelium, plural it is called as the epithelia. This tissue has a free surface which faces either a body, fluid or outside environment and provides a covering or lining of some part of the body. Means it is its one surface face the fluid or outside the environment, and it forms the lining for some part of the body, that is the covering or the lining. Now this is single cell layer. The cells are compactly packed with little intercellular matrix. You can see here they are compactly packed with the little intercellular matrix. The two types of epithelial tissues are, now epithelial tissues are further classified into two types, that is simple epithelium and the compound epithelium. Now simple epithelium is further classified into three main types, that is the squamous, cuboidal and columnar epithelium. Now let us begin with the first, simple epithelium tissue. Simple epithelium tissue is composed of single layer of cells and functions as a lining for body cavities, ducts and tubes. On the basis of structural modifications of the cell, simple epithelium is further divided into three types. The first one is the squamous epithelium. The squamous epithelium is made up of single thin layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. You can see their boundaries are irregular, not a particular shape. They are found in the walls of blood vessels. So here in the this is the blood vessel. They are found in the walls of the blood vessel. Air sac air sacs of lungs. So function is they form a diffusion boundary. So that is they allow the diffusion of some molecules. Now second one of simple epithelium is cuboidal. The cuboidal epithelium is composed of single layer of cube-like cell. So you can see here they are cube-like cell. It is also a single layer but cube-like cell. This is commonly found in ducts of glands and tubular parts of nephron in kidneys. Okay, so you can see here. So these are the glands, common bile duct. So in this tube they will be present. This is the pancreatic duct, and this is the kidney, which part is enlarged. This is the nephron. So they are present in the nephron regions of the kidney. Now functions are secretion and absorption. They do both. They secrete also and they absorb also this cuboidal cell. Now third type is the columnar. So you can see here these are the columnar. The epithelium of proximal convoluted tubule, PCT of nephron. So you can see here this is the proximal convoluted tubule of kidney, and the structure of is called as nephron. So this portion has microvilli. So they have microvilli. The columnar epithelium is composed of single layer of tall and slender cell. Now you can see columnar, they are tall and slender, tall cell. Their nuclei are located at the base. The nuclei are located at the base. Free surface may have microvilli. They are found in the inner lining of the stomach and the intestine. Function is help in secretion and absorption. They also help in secretion and absorption. So they have, when there is a presence of microvilli, we call it as the ciliated columnar epithelium. So here also you can see proximal convoluted tubule. Okay. So here microvilli are present, so which helps them in the secretion and absorption. Now ciliated epithelium. If the columnar or cuboidal cell bears cilia on their surface, it is called as the ciliated epithelium. So you can see these are the columnar elongated cell, and they have cilia present on the surface. So they are called as the ciliated epithelium. Now here the function is to move particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. So they move the particles, they helps in movement of the particle cilia. They are mainly present in the inner surface of hollow organs like bronchioles, fallopian tubes. So they helps in movement of the ear in case of egg, fallopian tube, etc. Some of the columnar or cuboidal cell get specialized for secretion and are called glandular epithelium. Okay, they are specialized for secretion. That's why they are called the glandular epithelium. Now they are mainly of two types. Glandular epithelium is of two types. Unicellular consisting of isolated glandular cells, or called as the globulate cells of the alimentary canal. Okay, these are unicellular glands. And multicellular glands consisting of cluster of cells. So you can see here cluster of cells. For example, present in the salivary gland. Now this parotid gland, also called as the salivary gland, they are the multicellular gland. You can see a cluster of cells. On the basis of the mode of pouring of their secretions, glands are divided into two categories, namely exocrine and endocrine gland. So on the basis of mode of pouring or secretion. So further glands are divided into two types, exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Now exocrine glands secrete mucus, saliva, earwax, oil, milk, digestive enzyme and other cell products. These products are released through ducts or tubes. So that is, they are consisting of tubes or ducts. Whereas endocrine glands do not have ducts or tubes. Their products called hormones are secreted directly into the fluid bathing the gland. Okay, so endocrine glands are called as the ductless gland, whereas exocrine glands are consist of ducts or the tubes. Exocrine gland mostly their secretion is hormones. Now compound epithelium, another type of epithelial tissue is compound. They consist of two or more cell layers and has protective function as in our skin. So you can see there are more than two layers and their function is protection. It has limited role in secretion and absorption function. Main function is to provide protection, as I told you, against chemical and mechanical stresses. When the body suffers from chemical mechanical stresses, they provide protection. They cover the dry surface of the skin, the moist surface of buccal cavity. This is the buccal cavity. Pharynx, inner lining of ducts, of salivary glands, and of pancreatic ducts. All cells in epitheliums are held together with a little intercellular material. So they have intercellular material which helps them to connect together. In all animal tissues, specialized junction provide both structural and functional link between its individual cells. So there are three types of cell junction found in the epithelial and other tissue. These are tight junction. Now what is the function of this junction? That is, they hold together the two cells. Okay, so two different cells are hold together with the help of this cell junction. Now you can see here in tight junction, this junction help to stop substances from leaking across the tissue. Now these are called as the tight junction, which prevents leaking across the tissue. Then adhering junction perform cementing to keep the neighboring cells together. So you can see two neighboring cells, they are held together by this adhering junction. And gap junction, it facilitates the cells to communicate with each other by connecting cytoplasm of the adjoining cell. Now this is the cytoplasm. So both the cytoplasm of both the cells are connected by a junction or cells for rapid transport of ions, small molecules and sometimes big molecule, and this type of junction they are called as the gap junction. Okay, so tight junction helps in prevent leaking. Adhering junction helps to join the two different cells, neighboring cells, keeping them together. And in gap junction helps the cytoplasm of the two different cells to be connected and transfer of ion, small molecules and sometimes big molecule from one cell to another. So this is the functions of the three different types of junction. Now another type of tissue is the connective tissue. Now connective tissue performs special function of linking and supporting other tissue organs of the body. So they support or connect the other tissue of the body. They range from soft connective tissue to specialized type. For example, cartilage, bone, adipose tissue and bloods. Now these all are the connective tissue. In all connective tissue except blood, the cells secrete fibers of structural proteins called as the collagen or elastin. So this tissue produces fibers whereas blood does not. So you have to Keep in mind. The fibers provide strength, elasticity, and flexibility to the tissue. These cells also secrete modified polysaccharide, which accumulates between cells and fibers and acts as a matrix. Okay, ground substances. That is the region between within the cell. Okay, that is called as the matrix. Now, connective tissues are further classified into three types, that is loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, and specialized connective tissue. Now, first we'll study loose connective tissue. They have cells and fibers which are loosely arranged in a semi-fluid ground substance. Now, this is the matrix, and you can see here the fibers, elastic fibers, collagen fibers, fibroblast. Okay, so they are loosely arranged. Loose connective tissue, they are loosely arranged in a semi-fluid ground. Example is the areolar tissue, so present beneath the skin. So this tissue is present beneath the skin. Function is support framework of epithelium. It supports epithelium. It contains fibroblast cells, the cells that produce and secretes fibers. So these fibroblast cells produces fibers. Macrophages and mast cell. Okay. Macrophages and the mast cell. Now, second type of connective tissue is the adipose tissue. This is the adipose tissue. Can see it is found here. The enlarged part of this is the enlarged part of the adipose tissue. Now, adipose tissue cell stores fat. Now, this cell stores fat. The excess of nutrients which are not used immediately are converted into fats and stored in this tissue. Fibers and fibroblasts are compactly packed in the dense connective tissue. Now, dense connective tissue is the third type, that is the dense connective tissue. Now, based on orientation of fibers shows a regular or irregular pattern and hence are called as the dense regular tissue and dense irregular tissue. So, dense connective tissue are further classified in two types, dense regular tissue and dense irregular tissue depending on the orientation of the fibers. Now, dense regular connective tissues has the collagen fibers which are present in the rows between the many parallel bundles of fibers. So now these are the collagen fibers. This is the fibroblast nucleus. So the collagen fibers are present in rows. You can see they are parallel between many parallel bundles of the fibers. Example is tendons. So example, this is the tendon which helps in this tendon helps in the attachment of the skeletal muscles to the bones. Okay, this tendon helps the attachment of skeletal muscle to the bone. So this is the example of tendon, the example of dense regular connective tissue. Another example, it also does the function of attaching one bone to another with the help of the ligaments. Okay, bones and the ligaments. So tendons and ligaments are the dense regular connective tissue which helps in attaching the muscles to the bones and one bones to the another bones. Now, dense irregular connective tissues has fibroblast and many fibers, mostly collagen, that are oriented differently. So, they do not have parallel patterns, so they are oriented differently. This tissue is present in the skin. So, you can see they have irregular pattern and they are present in the skin. Now, the third type is the specialized connective tissue. It is consists of cartilage, bones and blood. Okay. Now, first one is the cartilage. The intercellular material of cartilage is solid and pliable and resist compression. Liable and resist compression. So, compress जाए ना it cells of this tissue, chondrocytes, are enclosed in small cavities within the matrix secreted by them. Most of the cartilage in vertebrate embryos are replaced by bones in adults. Okay. So in vertebrate embryos, cartilage is present, and the same cartilage, it is then converted into bones when they become adult. Cartilage is present in the tip of the nose, ear joints, between adjacent bones of the vertebral columns, limbs, and hands in adults. Then in leg also. And these are the blood vessel which having different types of blood cells, which is also specialized connective tissue. Now bone, second type of specialized connective tissue is the bone. They have a hard and non-pliable ground substances rich in calcium salts and collagen fibers, which give bones its strength. It provides structural frame to the body. Bones support and protect softer tissues and organs. The bone cell osteocyte are present in the species called as the lacunae. Okay. So you can see here, this is the osteocyte, bone cell called the osteocyte, and is present between the intercellular spaces called as the lacunae. This space is called as the lacunae. Limbs, bones such as the long bones of the legs serves weight bearing function. They also interact with the skeletal muscle attached to them to bring about movement. So when bones are attached to the skeletal muscle, they helps in the movement. The bone marrow in some bones is the site of production of blood cell. Now this is the bone marrow cavity and in which blood cells are present. So they are the site for production of blood cell. So this is the structure of the blood. So you can see this is one osteon, and here the part of the cell of the bone is enlarged. Now third type of the tissue is the blood. Specialized connective tissue is the blood. So blood is a fluid connective tissue containing plasma. Now the blood is in the form of fluid. You can see it is a moving fluid, flowing fluid. Okay, a little thick. It is a water-like but little thick. That's why we call it as the fluid. Fluid connective tissue containing plasma. So you can see it is a plasma. Then red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelet cell. So the blood composed of red blood cell, plasma, white blood cell, and platelet cell. It is the main circulating fluid that helps in the transport of various substances, and various substances, nutrients, molecules are transported with the help of this blood. Okay, we'll stop here, students. I hope you have understood it clearly, this concept. Thank you.